So this time we're going to try for a search functionality to be able to look back over the things that we've already added. And to do that, we're going to have to figure out how to add choices to our dialogues. All right, so I'll say first of all that dialogues do allow us to use more than buttons or even custom views. They give you pretty quick ways to add in lists of items. In fact, 3 different types. All right, so you can just add in a regular list, which we'll do in a minute. You can add radio buttons if you'd rather, or you can add in checkboxes if you need to allow the user to select multiple things. There's different methods for these. So just like we saw, we had like set view or set title or whatever. We also have these 3 right here. So we could do set items and pass in basically an array of strings with a listener. We could do radio buttons as single choice items, because then you can select a default one to be checked when you start off here. So you give the index of that guy. And then for checkboxes, there's multi-choice items, and it gets its own little bit different listener here. Okay, so pretty decent. All right, so what we want to do is to display any item that the user selects here. So we want to make it so that we have a search menu item up here. So I'm going to have you do that. You'll have to go find a menu for that. Again, it's Android drawable, and then there's an icon in the menu, and there'll be something that's appropriately named for search. Hint, hint. And then in your Java code, go into your options item selected. Whoops. Your options item selected, and have it call a show search dialog. And I'd like you to do it now, even though you just saw that it's on the next slide. This would be good practice for you, right? So really do it, and I'll come back in a minute and we can compare notes. All right, so here's what I'm sure you did. All right, you went into menu main, and you said that you wanted a search thing. I'm going to organize these a little bit. I'm going to put my settings down bottom, and I'm going to take my reset one here, and I want search to come first, so I'm just going to copy it and paste it. So we'll do an action search here, Android drawable, so it's no longer revert, menu, and I'm sure you found this, that there is just a menu search, and there's the picture of it. So let's try this guy. So menu search. Order, I want it to come before the other one. I forget which direction these guys go. I know if they're tied, the search is going to come first. I could set this to something lower, and we'll see whether that breaks it or not. Let's see, string on this. If I wanted a name, I could call it search. Let's see, go away. Let's see, I don't have a string for that there. So what do I want to do? Let's go ahead and make one. So search and extract a string resource. Again, that was Alt-Enter, search. Very good, and we'll show it if there's room. Actually, this one's important enough that I might want it always to show up, and I can use that as a third option for when to show it as an action. All right, so I've got that guy, and I'm going to go back to my code and back up to on options item selected. So I had this really long case for reset because of all the snack bar stuff. But let's do a search. And search, we said, was going to call a one that shows a search dialog, which is a function that we're going to write, and then I'll return true. So we should go ahead and stub this guy in as well. Private helper, void function, show the search dialog. So what's going to go in here? Well, you can probably get a pretty good idea that we're going to be doing things with dialog fragments. So if you want to use the one that we did before as a reference, probably not a bad idea. So a lot of things that happened in the add item are going to happen here as well. So showing the search dialog, I'm going to make a dialog fragment. I can call it df again. New dialog fragment. And very good. And then I'm going to call it df.show. And I need to get the support fragment manager again and give it a tag. This one right here is just going to be for search. And then we need to do some stuff in here. So we need to override onCreateDialog. Let's see. So yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm going to make an alert dialog builder once again. Call it what you like. New alert dialog.builder with a context, which is our current activity from this fragment. And then I'm going to remember, again, because they kind of come in pairs, that I'm eventually going to want to create the dialog there. All right, so I could set a title if I wanted to. In fact, I might do that here. I want it to say, like choose an item. So I'm going to do set title. Let's see if I remember to do that. Item title, maybe. Let's check. Back in my strings. All right, so item title, it was item ordered. No, that's not at all what I want. Did I say something? It looks like I didn't put that in either. All right, that's okay. Let's go back. Let's make one. So let's say choose an item. And we'll take this guy here and we'll Alt enter it. And we'll call this search dialog. Let's see, so these are string resources. So search dialog title underscores. Great. All right, what else do we want? We want to set the items on this guy. So this is the new thing here. And this takes an array of strings and then a listener. So we need an array of strings. So I'm gonna write a method here called getNames, which is gonna do this for us. And then I'll put in a listener on this guy. So a new onClick listener from the dialog interface. And put that guy there. I'll write. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and do this. So getNames is a helper function. So what I have is I have an array list of items, and I need an array of names. So easy enough to write a little function that does this. So let's see, we'll call this guy getNames. And do I want it to pass in? I don't really need to. I guess it's already part of the class here. So I'm going to have a for loop that's going to loop over each. Let's see, how do I want to do this here? Make an empty string array. So names, new string array. All right, that's eventually what I'm going to return. And what do we want to do? So for each, I'm going to need indices, so I'm just going to write a regular for loop here. So for each thing in my items, I'm going to take, let's see, so let's go, whoops, I was half writing an enhanced for loop there. Okay, so for each I in here, I++, we will take names I, will get the items get at position I. And I don't want the whole thing, I just want, from that item, I want the name of the item. So I'll go ahead and do getName. If I wanted the whole thing, I could write and use a toString function, but I don't really feel the need to do that right now. Just the name should be sufficient. Okay, little helper to get the names, done. So what we've done is we've passed into, whoops, went too far, passed into my set items, this array of strings, and then I have a listener. The listener here is not only just, sort of the dialog that was clicked, but also which item was clicked. That's good because we're gonna need that as we go. So what should I do? So I'm gonna reset my current item is gonna be my items, and I'll get the one at that position, since they're obviously consistent numbering since they came from the same place. And I want to show the current item. Looks like I made an error here, so I need to give it the length of the string. So let's see. Length of this guy is going to be the same thing as the item's size. All right, let's try this guy. So actually, if I add an item, quickly. And then I do a search. Let's see what we get. So choose an item. So I could choose coffee. And let's see, I guess that didn't really show too much. What if I clear it out and then I research for coffee? Then it comes back. Okay, so it works with at least one item. I could try it with a couple things here. So again, let's add donuts back in. A dozen donuts for today. And now we've got donuts. And now we can still search for coffee, or we can search for donuts. So if I click outside, it'll dismiss. Might be nicer to have a cancel button in here just to make the user happy. That's an easy enough thing to do, as you know. So we have the items here. So let's have our builder set, and again, that's the negative button that gets. Let's see if I can do it right this time. So negative is going to be a cancel, and then that'll just dismiss it. No real listener. So that's it for this. At least the functionality for our app. Just show you a couple more things real quick. All right. So here's the code for your reference. I don't think there's anything in here that we didn't do. So it looks like, yeah, pretty good. So we've done everything we needed. So that was just a list. If you wanted radio buttons, you'd use single choice items, and feel free to experiment with that if you want to. I don't really care whether you do or not. No big deal. You're going to use the same sort of dialog interface on Click Listener. We don't have a way to use this in our current app, but if you wanted to be able to select multiple items here, then you'd use a multi-choice Click Listener. And just to show you an old example that I have of this right here. When you set these guys, you can give it an array resource, or you can give it an array of strings. And then we also have to give it an array of booleans that show which ones were checked. So this right here has the first 4 checked and the last one not. And then you have it on multi-choice listener that in addition to telling you which one was just clicked, it's also was it just checked or unchecked. And you could use that boolean however you like. But that's about it here. Again, if you ever have need for these things, you know where to find them. All right, see you next time.